All right, everybody, here we go. We're back. It's episode 23 of Sunday Sketchin'. Tonight, it is all about Russ and Sarah and charms. We're going to go through the campaign, of course, but we will also be getting to watch the pros do their job, a little bit of art on the table. Hello, I am Tom. What's going on, everybody? We're back. It's episode 23. We have a couple of MIA artists, but one should be here any second. Hopefully the other will follow right behind. But for now, we do have the April.
Yeah, the April.
The April is here, already rolling on whatever she's got going here. What are we doing? What are we doing here, April?
Is the main character's name Allie? No, what's her name?
Well, we'll have to ask Russ, won't we?
Yeah, Russ. Russ. Oh, Russ, my love. Your main character with the cute, super blonde hair and like the blue tips, the ombre haircut. Yeah, we got her, and then I'm gonna do like a string of like a charm chain, and with a couple of charms hanging off, and then a fiercely roaring tiger.
Fiercely roaring.
Marissa,
sure.
Yes. I feel like Marissa laid down a gauntlet, and I picked that puppy up.
Yeah, she was pretty adamant about, I am drawing a tiger. Boom. So, hopefully we'll get her in here in a second. But we're also waiting on Ryan, who just sent me a message. He should be here pretty soon as well. But we do have our guests for the evening to join April and I. It's Russ and it's Sarah, and it's Deadpool too, apparently. How are you guys doing?
Oh. Well, my Deadpool hat. I wear my Deadpool hat a lot.
He's got a do you poo hanging up on his rack. I'll take that.
Yeah, it's either the Deadpool or the do you poo, or Naughty Nice, and she hates when I wear the Naughty Nice hat.
Oh, I hate it. I roll a smidge. I like Marat, so all is good.
I love Mandy.
Welcome, Albert. Guys, welcome. So
the main character is Caitlin.
There we go. Caitlin, which is this right here, right?
Yes.
There we go.
Yes.
Yep, that's Caitlin. So it's interesting. So this is kind of funny because Tom, Scott Campbell has worked for you.
Yep.
And so our daughter is 15, and our oldest daughter is 15, and she got to meet April. It's in Chicago as well. Her name is Caitlin, and she's loosely named after Caitlin Fairchild from Gen 13.
I made him do a K.
Yeah, she made him maybe change the spelling. But anyway, so this character is loosely based on on my daughter, and so that's why her name's Caitlin.
I love it.
Awesome. That I'm sure that's a very, very common thing. In the comic book world. I once met Peter Alessi, David Alessi, Mr. Alessi. We'll call him Mr. Alessi. He's passed on. He was the guy who founded CrossGen many years ago. And so I met him at San Diego Comic-Con, and he was, at the time I was a comic book retailer, so we were having a little retailer discussion, and girl walks by and he says, "Oh, this is my daughter Ashley," and I was like, like Ashley in your book, Scion? He was like, yeah, that's exactly right. So yeah, this is 100% a thing in the comic book world. I'm probably in the creative world in
Oh
general
yeah.
more than we
Anytime
ever
anyone
realized.
can use family members, yeah, it's
And the funny thing though is when he had the idea and he went ahead and pitched it to have somebody draw this idea kind of out.
Mhm.
He drew her without us telling him with the blue tips.
no, I did. I specifically told him that.
Oh, I thought
Oh
that
no,
it was
no, I gave him specific instructions because at the time
she had blue
our
tips.
daughter was going through this the phase, right? We're her constantly having her hair dyed blue, green, mermaid color, or whatever. So yeah, it was definitely one of the things that I specifically told him was that, look, this is I want her to have dyed blonde hair with the blue highlights, and so yeah, that was definitely a thing.
Yeah, the design matters. I've had this discussion with somebody just recently. Art and design are not the same thing. There are plenty of people with, artistic talent, but they couldn't design themselves out of a paper bag. And and that's not to like throw shade at anybody, but they're very different skills designing characters and just drawing the character that you're presented. So, yeah. And design matters too. Oh, here we go. Mr. Kincaid has arrived.
What's up?
Hey, Ryan.
Good day, sir.
How are you guys doing?
Good. I got smacked a little bit when I was starting off with trade dressing books.
Mm-hmm.
So because a graphic designer said, "Who put the lettering on the books? Why do they use 3 different fonts?" And I'm just like, "Oh, okay, that's a thing." I didn't know that was a thing. So yeah, definitely different.
I've gone through that. I've gone through that too. I do a lot of I do all of it, I guess, now that I think about it. I do all the trade dress for all the books that I do, including like the inside covers, like the credits pages and all that kind of stuff. Some of it is based on old stuff that was made for me, and I just have been like, I'm just going to keep using this because it's awesome. Rob Duenas did a lot of our early,
good old
credits
Rob.
pages and stuff like that. So a lot of it was just too cool, and I'm like, I'm just going to keep going. It's awesome, so I'm going to keep it. But when I get new books and I have to make new stuff, I do all of it.
Yeah, I do a lot for different folks. I learned a lot of it from Marat, basically. Seeing how he was setting up his different books, and just snagged ideas from this book and that book, and now I do it for Noble and a bunch of other folks as well. It's kind of fun. So the main character, it's interesting because we've kind of shifted how we've been promoting the book, because we started promoting the book as a female teenager, to pull out that the strong female vibe crowd, but we kind of shifted a little bit because the book, she is like the main character, but she also has 2 friends, so it's actually technically about the 3 teens together. And book 1 focuses on her, and then book 2 is going to focus on one of the other ones, and book 3 is going to focus on the last one, and then in 4, it's going to be all of them together kind of thing. So, we knew that we were doing a 4-book, like an origin arc.
I would say book 2 is still going to have to focus on her son.
Some, yes, but it's.
But yeah, then you get to see more of Joe and Joe's family, and then book 3 will be.
So the blonde is Caitlin. Joe is the redhead.
They're
and then
absolute
Brady,
best friends. Yeah.
And then Brady is the boy.
Yeah.
And they're all buddies. They kind of look after Brady a little bit because he gets picked on. So, but it's gonna deal with typical teenage life and what they're going through, as a normal teenager, and bullies and all of that stuff. But then also, they're gonna, throughout the series, as they find out, the reader is going to find out that they're part of an ancient tribe with, some abilities. So basically, the tribe can create magical jewelry, namely these bracelets, and the people that wear them are called charm bearers. And basically, they can bring the animal charms to life.
And not anybody can just do that.
Right, exactly. Not anybody can be a charm bearer. So it's kind of like Aquaman. They have to be the chosen one, or be a chosen charm bearer, basically. So, the more people have talked about it and mentioned it, I can see the Harry Potter-ness in the story, even though it wasn't intentional.
No, it was.
That's only because they say the chosen one.
I flipped 2 to 1 though. I flipped it.
Yeah, but the chosen one could appear to Matrix goers too. So,
but no.
Yeah, the only Harry Potter symbolism in that is the fact that you said chosen one. Other than
I liked the trio idea in Harry Potter. But I didn't want it to be 2 males, 1 female, and so I like the 2 female, 1 male idea. And their abilities that's kind of where I liked the communication between them. So I suppose that could be similar, and the support of each other and strengths.
Well,
and
so you got that from Three's Company.
Yeah, I thought of that too.
Three's Company.
And my goal a little bit for Joe's character is actually Joe from The Facts of Life. I don't know if you guys remember her arc and her abilities and ways with she's
kind of the mean tomboy kind of.
What is it, tomboy?
Well, whatever. Anyways, you know what I'm saying.
But yeah, so that character is got a strong. At least that's always my was my goal in writing her. So it's got some.
Yeah, we're all Gen X here. We know what The Facts of Life is.
Okay.
So. I don't.
Everybody always says this is like this is like that. They literally they can pull reference out of everywhere.
April, you know what The Facts of Life is. You're just not.
I don't.
Tootie.
I know.
Tootie.
Joe is still my favorite. Yeah.
I know that Family Guy had referenced it, but outside of that, I don't.
That's funny.
Okay. Wow.
April's young.
No.
We didn't know if Marissa were here as well. Marissa wouldn't know what it is either. So.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
So you don't need to feel bad.
I know of it. I just don't.
Actually, it's good because you won't have any kind of this character just totally seems
right out of that
something I've seen. Yeah, it's not straight out, but it is. It was the vibe. I was going.
So I did watch Three's Company. I just don't know The Facts of Life or Leave It to Beaver or.
Well, I think Three's Company was later, a little bit, not much. But no, so so basically, I had this idea. It's one of those random things that pops into your head, and I just had an image of a girl with a bracelet and a charm, and her throwing the charm and it turning into a bear. And I couldn't get it out of my head. It's all it's like what I was thinking of. So I ended up reaching out to an artist and had him draw a really horrible page, a sequential page of a girl throwing a charm. No, because it was bad. I know if I showed you, it was bad. It was very simple. No. It was a preliminary concept. I just wanted to see what it would look like. And then I reached out to another artist and had him do basically a cover so that when I was showing people or when I was telling people about my idea, they could have a visual representation of what I was thinking. And that was back in 2019. That's when it all started. And after that, that's when I pitched it to Sarah and said, hey, I'm having this idea about doing a comic book. And I told her, and she just kind of went ballistic with ideas.
Ballistic makes it sound negative, but no, we were on our way back from, I want to say North Carolina. I'm just pretty sure.
It was probably.
And so we had this long car ride anyway. And so he pitches me this idea, and he's going to say it. I am a huge reader. I can devour a novel in a night. And I have a lot of favorite authors, tons, so many. And so there were just ideas kind of jumping out at me of things we could do with this character to set her in a place. and with family, and that's where the two friends came out of, and all of that, just to, depth and have them be able to. And that's the whole arc. So we have an arc in our book, and that's all that came out of those conversations. So, but then he looked at me and he went, "You're stealing my idea. You're taking my idea." I'm like, "Well, I'm not trying to. I'm just trying to, be supportive." And then he looked at me and he said, "Well, you're the writer then." So, because he even said, he's like, "I don't hate the ideas. I just, that I was kind of running away with it a little bit." So,
hey, it happens. It worked.
Yeah, it worked. I mean, and even when we were going through the process of actually working on the book, I've been in the industry for only like 3.5 years, but I've been around things enough to understand how books have to be done. Certain aspects of it anyways. So I knew we were going to be a little rough on how to do a script. So when Sarah, wrote the script, it was a basic 1 page. No, it's not bad. It's not, we didn't know what we were doing. So we had 1 page, and it was like page 1, this has to happen on the page.
This needs to happen. Like, that's how, this
page
has
2,
to happen.
This has to happen. Page 3, all the way down to page 24.
I had a little bit of dialogue where it was like, I felt like super important for the character to say, so I kind of knew. But, that's pretty much how that was. It wasn't, now I know, when you know better, you do better.
But anyway, where I was going with that was that when I was looking for an artist, I knew that I had to find somebody that was able to take a, maybe I don't,
a rough idea.
Yeah, a rough idea, and a non-perfect script, basically. And
so you did basically like the old, like, there's always the idea. There's the DC style, which is like super detailed, and then there's the Marvel style, which is more or less a loose. Here's what happens on the page, artist.
Yeah,
now you go.
Yes, that's what it was.
It was.
Yeah, he broke it out into panels.
Yep,
pretty much.
And Nate Lovett is who I hired. He's here in Ohio. And Nate has done work for Nickelodeon. He's done his own book, Carter Kane. He's done some other indie books as well. But his style is very. Someone compared it to, what was that? Kim Possible.
Oh yeah.
And Nate kind of took offense to that when I told him that. I'm like, dude, it's not. Don't take offense to that. I'm like, she was a very popular cartoon. I mean, that's. If someone can relate your art to something like that, that's huge.
Yeah.
I call it a serious cartoony style. And because it's more detailed than you would see on a TV cartoon. But at the same time, it's very clean. Mm-hmm. It's more simplistic, but it's very clean and easy to look at.
It is perfect for the book.
Yeah. So when I look at it, I can imagine it being on in a cartoon. So and I knew that I was going to color most of it. So I'm doing the coloring and the basic rendering just to keep the cost down, and then I have Sean Forney, who is doing the final renderings.
You did the lettering too.
And then I did the lettering myself, just to.
There's a whole story about that too.
But, well, it's and it's not bad. Someone keeps taking it as a negative, but I was nervous about, because she reads novels.
I don't think it's a negative. It actually helped.
And I was nervous about her, putting too many word bubbles on the page.
Sure. From day one, he was nervous about that. I have never done this in my life. And day one, he's like, you cannot fill the whole space.
So what I did is I lettered the whole book. I put in my own dialogue for the entire book. Okay. And then I'm like, okay, here you go. All the word balloons are in place. All you have to do is change the dialogue to whatever you want it to be. So what she does is, okay, and the book flops between 2 arcs. There's a battle arc where the folks are in a jungle and they're fighting. And then there's the teens going through their normal teen life.
Day to day, and it's all at the same,
Right. It's happening at the same time, but it's flopping back and forth.
Right.
And so what Sarah did is, she was trying to be nice to me, and leave some of the dialogue that I put
left
in
the
there.
battle scene stuff was him.
And she rewrote all of the stuff for the dialogue between the teens because
It was all wrong.
yeah, so because she had in her head, she has an idea of what the teens would sound like, how they're going to talk and talk to each other.
And Cliff too.
So
yeah,
they're her uncle who's teaching them karate. But anyway, so when I sent it off to the editor, who's James Patrick, some of you may know him. He's writing a kaiju score for Aftershock right now, and he's written for Harley Quinn, Arrow, Batman. He's local to me. He's a great guy. He's given me suggestions at the very beginning of this process. Pitching versus self-publishing, that kind of stuff, and then I asked him to go ahead and review the book and make suggestions. And
he had a few people do that.
Right.
That was
James was the main one because James obviously does this, and he was able to give some of the most critical feedback. And basically what he said was, the dialogue between the kids, great. Don't change it. Everything else, change it.
Nice.
Which was great, honestly, for me, only because I imposter syndrome, right? I didn't know. I was like, I've never written a book before. I write grants. Like I write for work stuff. Like I've been told I'm a good writer, but in that capacity, so it was a lot of validation for me. But then I kind of felt, because I was like, well, I was leaving that so you'd have part of that in there. And he's, no, just change it all. If it needs change, change it.
I'm like, I don't care. I just care that it's pretty. I don't care what they say.
Yeah, his biggest thing was you can't cover up the art. Because I'd be like, well, what if I go a little bit bigger with this bubble? You can't, I'm like, but that word is important. I want him to say, so we did a lot of back and forth that way. But
smooth guys.
Always smooth. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he'd be like, it was so funny because he's like, I didn't know, little words, then down to big words, then back to little words, right?
You can't put a big word as the first word and a bubble or at the end.
Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious.
Yeah, it does not go ever first. No way. Yeah. So
the big words have to go in the middle.
But the hardest part too for us is there was a few scenes where I'd be like, but I need that bubble over here. And Russ was like, well, it can't be over there because the character's not over there, because you want him to read in order, right? As things flow down the page across and down. And so I learned with that of kind of being a little bit, I think the next book will be better in that fashion. Like I broke it up into
she knows how to write the script better this time so that
oh sure.
I probably I said it. We were out to dinner with the family, and I was writing it on my phone in Notepad. Which do not recommend. Don't write in that Notepad.
At the world, the world famous Cracker Barrel, and we're all about done eating, and she's over there typing on her phone. I'm like, "Who are you texting?" And she's like, "Oh, I'm writing book 2." And I'm like, "What do you mean you're writing book 2?" She's
it was there,
and she's like, "Here, read it." And I'm like, I'm eating. I'm not reading it.
He would not read any of it. I would get all excited about it. I'm like, oh, this page is really good. You should read this.
Then she's getting mad at me because I won't read it. And I'm like, I'm eating. I'm like, I'm not done with book 1 yet. And you want me to read book 2?
I don't even, had we even launched? I don't think we'd launched. I think he was done with the Kickstarter setup. That was it.
Killing me. And she's getting so mad at me because I wouldn't read book 2. And I'm like, look. And then, she's sitting there writing it. And I'm like, we have to go. You're not eating. We have to go. We're done. And she's like, J.K. Rowling sat in a restaurant for 4 hours writing on napkins.
Not that I'm ever comparing myself to J.K. Rowling. I'm not trying to say that. But I don't feel like she had somebody sitting beside her going, come on. Are you done? Are you ready? Let's leave. So it was kind of funny. Yeah, but it's done. That one is pretty much ready to go with a few tweaks. So I'm glad that, it looks like things are in a good spot for us to be able to do book 2. So love that to keep moving up, but it's exciting because listening to him worry day after day after day if we were going to get there. And then he keeps moving. He keeps moving the goalposts for me. I'll be like, oh, but look, you should be happy. Then he moves the goalposts in his head. So there's no winning.
You always have an idea of what you want your Kickstarter to make. You set your goal as like a soft goal, but you really want it to make more than that. And so, I mean, of course, I wanted, the Kickstarter to make more than, the soft goal that I had set because I wanted it to be attainable. And I mean, when you have some great covers like Ryan Kincaid and Chad
I'll
Hart
do the hack.
Gorgeous.
and Shannon Mayer, you have expectations that you're going to light things up, and it just doesn't go like that, and you're like, okay, and then you send a nasty email to Kickstarter, telling them to F off because they're not promoting.
It's like day one, you guys.
book.
You don't even understand. And Wendy, by the way, I do that for work. That's what's funny. Every meeting, I have a notebook because I'm an idea person and I can't interrupt the meetings, with senior leadership to do that with my day job. So yeah, but I did not when we were at the restaurant. So I was notepadding it away. And then he wouldn't read it off of Notepad. He was like,
off her phone.
He was like, I'm not reading it off your phone. So then, yeah, he converted it to Word. But anyway.
No, but it's so it's interesting because one of the things that I do now is I set up Kickstarters for creators, publishers, and I've done about 30 Kickstarters in the last 15 months. I just launched number 30, I believe, a couple days ago, and I've done 2 Indiegogos and like 6 backer kits. I'm actually working on the 7th or 8th backer kit right now, somewhere around there for Dan Mendoza. And I'm very good at telling people to stay calm and and going through the process, but doing my first book, holy crap! No, I get the pains now. I definitely get the pains. People sitting there and changing their pledge 16 times in 3 weeks. You're just like,
but
what
we
are
still
you
love
doing?
that they pledged.
Oh no, oh absolutely. We're still excited that they pledged. Still happy. But it's just the pains of watching, like watching something, waiting for the water to boil, basically.
Oh yeah.
But it's definitely a lot of fun. It's doing a comic book, bringing an idea that you had to life for others to read. It's very cool. And working with a different artist, it's a different experience when you can. We did 11 covers actually on the Kickstarter. There's 11 covers. Knowing that you were able to pay, 11 people to bring your character to life on a cover, it's awesome. It's very, very cool feeling. But we actually have Robert Wood is doing a retailer variant for his Facebook group, and Marat is going to do a cover for that, which is also going to be another outside the box type of a cover for Marat. So it'll be interesting. And then I had Drax Gal, who is doing a lot of stuff for Dan Mendoza with Zombie Tramp and interior artists and stuff. I had him do a cover, and then Joe Massimo from Buku was like, "Hey, I'll do a retailer variant. I want a different cover as well." So I'm like, "Hey, I got this one from Drax Gal. It's a wraparound cover." And he's like, "All right, I want that one." I showed it to him. He's like, "Yes, it's cool." So he wanted that one.
I am looking forward. And when Russ began the whole journey into his coloring and all of that, I went to shows that we were at to sell his stuff. I'm excited to actually be able to talk to folks about something that I have a part in. And so I'm really excited now. I'm looking forward to this season of cons because
and she's gonna get to jump in feet first with this as well, because I signed up to do Three Rivers Con the first weekend in June, and I love that show. And we had done Huntington last year, Huntington, West Virginia, and it turns out they're on the same weekend this year.
Yep.
So I'm going to Three Rivers, and Sarah here is going to Huntington.
Yep.
By her,
with the
kids. She'll have the girls. I'll have my son.
We decided for bathroom breaks that was easiest.
Yeah.
So
you have your elevator putsch ready?
Yeah, I think so. My problem is my
Sarah. What is Charms about?
See, that's what I was about to say. My elevator pitch, he's constantly like tapping me, and I give too much stuff away. So I'm gonna have to. I say I have it,
Yeah, she has to
need, like-
refine it to make sure.
Yeah, you need like 2 sentences.
Charms is about 3 teens going through life, learning that they are part of something bigger, better, greater that involves magic.
This is what I'm going to teach
Okay,
you how.
that doesn't suck.
This is
She
here.
needs magic.
It
This
still
is
needs a refinement, but you got the
Yeah.
key elements, so that's good. Yeah.
see, this is without saying the things in parentheses. This is pretty much the elevator pitch. 3 small town teens find out that they are descendants of an ancient tribe. The tribe has the ability to forge magical bracelets that allow the wearer, called charm bearers, to bring the animal charms to life. They can summon the animals, communicate with them, and have them fight alongside them in battle. Obviously, it's much deeper than that, but just not anyone can wear the bracelets. You have to be chosen, and obviously, there are evil forces that know these magical bracelets exist. So that's where the battling is going to come in.
Yeah, but that's for a dust jacket. That's not an elevator pitch.
Exactly. I will
Well,
refine
it was, but then he just kept going and kept going.
Yeah.
What you want is you want those 2 sentences, right, to kind of get them to go, oh, okay, and then hopefully they're looking at the book, and then as they're looking at the book, then you can just sort of like drizzle a little more in there. Oh, that's that character, and she does this, and that's the charm, and whatever.
Yeah.
But you want that. You want that quick hook.
I think I'll be able to do that. Hopefully pretty well. I mean, I'm never afraid to talk to folks. That's the part I enjoy. So.
And I'm getting a lot of positive feedback from people that are backing. They're messaging me on Facebook and saying, "Hey, I went to check out the Shannon Mare cover, and I saw the art and I love it." And they're basically saying, I'll be you keep making the book and I'll be a backer. So that's what you want, right? You want as a new creator, you have to rely on your artist. Get some artists with some backing, some.
I don't know why you chose me then.
Yeah, right. Every indie fan knows you, so of course it's the main reason. And you're
a genuinely nice guy.
You're awesome. I mean,
oh, that's just my con self. Tom knows better.
It's just too bad he can't draw well.
See, there it is.
Right. Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, I love your art, Ryan.
Yeah.
So
gotta give you a hard time.
Yeah,
you've been around a while.
But it's awesome. Just watching everything. I mean, just watching everything unfold. When the pages came in, just the basic preliminary sketches, and then seeing them drawn and inked.
He would get so excited.
Oh,
it was like it was Christmas every time. And so I'd get the pictures sent into my work when he knows that I'm at work, and different covers and things would come in. Like, this is this cover, and look at this one. And honestly, I kept going, well, that one's really pretty, and this one's really pretty. And that was really neat too, to see just different artists and their concepts.
Well, I'll tell you, that really never stops. It never goes away. I mean, I'm doing this now for 12 years, and I'm still getting art and being like, yo, that's amazing, and then like we send it off to colors. Like we just sent Ryan's covers off to Sanju to do his do the colors, and I get it back, and I look at it and I'm like, yo, that's amazing. And I send it to Ryan, and he's like, yo, that's amazing. So yeah, it's still, that's always going to be there, I think. And if it's not there, then you probably need to stop, because then they're not enjoying it anymore. No,
exactly. I mean, this is supposed to be fun. I mean, Sarah and I both work a 40-hour job. We do pretty well for ourselves. So, the first book, I'd spent $6,500, $7,000 out of pocket to do, and
just to see our idea become a thing out in the world,
So the Kickstarter is just basically paying for, all the funds are going to book 2.
Book 2. We're
not looking to try to get our money back. I just want to go to book 2. That way we're not spending another $6,000 to $7,000 out of pocket to do it all over again, times, all the way to book 4. So, yeah, I mean, it's definitely interesting, watching the whole process, unravel and come to life. And Justin McCracken was my dude today. He was my number 100.
Ah, nice.
So
I know Justin. He lives out here.
but it's great, seeing, since I do Kickstarters for other folks, seeing some of the backers for these other Kickstarters, that are backing my project now as well. It's just, I don't know. It's very cool to see. I love that charm bracelet. It's very neat.
So I was looking at, it looks like the one.
Oh, thank you.
There's Justin right there.
Would you swear that's not what you got the idea?
What?
The charm bracelet idea.
Oh, I didn't know. It was just, it came out of nowhere. But so, yep, Justin was my number 100 today. I made a post and I was like, come on, guys, I'm at 99. Someone's got to get me to 100, which is awesome. I mean, for a first time book, I'm super stoked that we got 100 backers on the Kickstarter. So
That's good, man. It's a good job.
but it's always about building the foundation, a strong foundation to, build upon going forward through your Kickstarter. So.
Well, you're part of the community. You've been, like you said, you work with a bunch of other people, so it was probably more or less a no-brainer. It might not feel like it, but probably more or less a no-brainer to be able to have some aspect of success. Now, obviously, like we talked about, you have the we need this number, but we're kind of hoping for this number. So, but
Yeah.
you've already doubled up on what you were
Exactly
what your
Right.
original goal was. So,
Yep.
You're doing just fine.
Yeah. And I had, I've got folks that say, hey, when I see a Kickstarter and I see that your name is attached to the project, is doing the Kickstarter, I know that I can back it and trust that it's going to be delivered. So, that's a good feeling too. Now that I'm doing my own, so that will help out tremendously.
Well, that definitely helps because there's a lot of people out there that have been jaded so many times they won't do it.
Yeah, people are getting burnt. It's kind of sad. I hate to see, the creators that are basically taking advantage of the system, and not fulfilling their books and starting a second or third Kickstarter before they ship books, or if they even ship the books out.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't realize that you could run six Kickstarters, comic related Kickstarters.
You can if you have a track record with them as far as getting books fulfilled. That's basically what it comes down to. You kind of have to be grandfathered into it. If you're new guy number one and you're like, here's my book and it funds, they're not going to let you do another one until that one's fulfilled. But if you've been doing this for 3 or 4 years and you have a track record of getting the books out, then they'll look at it a little differently and be like, okay, he's a little behind, but everything about his account says that the book will get out and so on and so on.
That's good.
So yeah,
okay.
That's basically how it breaks
Better.
down.
Yeah,
because I know, because like for example, oh my God, Merck, what's her name? Murphy from Merck Publishing. Like they do one literally every month, and it's impossible to finish and ship a book by the time you're doing the next one. But they have the track record of, yes, we know Murphy's going to get it done, so we let her do her monthly Kickstarter campaigns. So
Right.
Yeah. I think the biggest problem is that there's so many people using Kickstarter that aren't prepared for it. And those are the people that are really causing the problems. And there's a lot of people that want to support these guys. Like, hey, it's your first book and we want to help you do your book. But the reality is whoever's running it has no clue what they're doing. They're not making allowances for shipping, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Because it's not exactly a transparent thing. You really have to kind of do some research and figure out, like, what does this really mean? If I make, $5,000, I have to print, I have to pay my people, I got to do shipping. And so a lot of people just get stuck. They're like, well, crap, we didn't make enough to do all of the things that we need to do. And then those are the guys that you don't get a book.
Yeah. We read about them every month on Facebook.
Yeah, exactly.
Y'all got your shipment from this mother effer? No.
I've been lucky that I've only had 2 projects not deliver out of the, I don't know, 40 or so that I've done. And they were both, actually, one of them, I should have gotten it. And because they apparently shipped it and other people were getting their books. And I'm like, okay, cool. So it's coming. That's fine. And it never showed up. And I sent messages like, yo, are we getting books? Like, what's going on? No response. And I'm like, oh, okay, apparently that's out of here. But then you go look at their, because you can, when you go online, this is the other thing, guys. If you're looking at Kickstarters and you want to kind of save yourself some heartache, you can actually look at somebody's account and kind of see what they've done. You can see how many times they've been successful, how many times they failed, fulfilled, all that kind of stuff. So you can do a little homework before you pledge. So if you go back and look at this guy who didn't get the book to me anyway, the rest of his campaigns are all just flatline dead. They're not even working. So clearly, basically the public spoke and they were like, yeah, we're not pledging for you anymore.
Damn, I knew I should have fixed my stuff.
Thank you, Justin, by the way. Yeah.
Whoops, there we go.
Ryan does such great art. I wish I had a sketch cover.
I think they're both.
No, they're both awesome. I love the.
I figure I was gonna stick with the little cartoony vibe of the book.
Yeah.
Super cute.
So yeah, it was funny when I approached Ryan to do a cover. I mean,
Oh yeah, that was interesting.
Yeah. So
he was selling it to me too. He's like, "Don't worry, I got an idea."
So I mean, everybody, and it's honestly, Murat was like, "Dude, if you want," Murat and Adelso Corona were both like, hey, "You want covers? Let us know. We'll do covers." And I'm like, "I do, but I don't know. I have to have some kind of an idea, right? For to give an artist to say, hey, this is what we're looking for, kind of thing." And when your main characters are 15 years old, you're kind of limited with what you can do when you know what artist fans are expecting. Okay, I mean, because that plays a big part of this, and it's kind of like when you have a movie, an actor, and I'll use like Melissa McCarthy or Rebel Wilson, right? Heavy set comedians, and then they lose weight and they try to be in a serious movie. And everyone's just kind of like, that doesn't fit. That's not what we know about them. And, and everybody knows Ryan for most of his sexy covers. So I'm like, all right, I got to go outside the box with this one. And I'm like, Ryan, I'd like to see if I could get you to do a cover for me, but I'm looking for a Calvin and Hobbes homage cover. And it's like, okay.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, I mean,
it's really cute. It's so cute. And lots of compliments on that one too.
Awesome.
Yeah. So
Justin, generally the art is up for sale. Just ask April or Ryan what they're doing for it. But generally at the end of the show, they just put the stuff up for sale. So if you're interested, you can take it home.
Very true.
I always like when somebody tells me to do something different.
Well, it's like you're given permission to work outside the box. But there's a lot of really cool female positive youth oriented cartoons like Sailor Moon, Kim Possible, even like Inspector Gadget when they had like Penny, like she really stole the show, or Dora the Explorer, or Dino Dana. Like there's a lot of cool ones.
Yeah.
Yep. So that's what, we're trying to tap into that, the positive female teen, that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But I wanted adults to be able to read it too. So some of the dialogue is subtle. Like we don't show the bad things, but an adult's going to pick on it that there were some bad things.
It's kind of like Shrek.
So it's, I'm trying to thread that needle a little bit, but I'm
as long as it's Shrek and not Ren and Stimpy, you're okay.
Yeah. No, definitely.
That wasn't very subtle.
Yeah.
No.
but I love Ren and Stimpy.
So why don't we jump in here and take a run through the campaign? We'll show everybody what's going on. So basically, I'll just scroll through here, and you can kind of tell us what we're looking at. Obviously, 103 backers. You got 3 days to go. So what's the official end day?
Thursday night at 8, I believe.
Thursday at 8. Okay, so there you go, guys. You got a few more days to get involved. Obviously, they're already more than half, or more than double, rather, what they were looking for. So already funded, good to go. So go ahead. You can just tell us what we're looking at.
So yeah, I mean, so this is a main logo that I kind of made using Nate Lovett's cover. But yeah, so I mean, we went through we tried to. That was, I think, the hardest part for us is to not give away too much of the story, because we want you to figure things out as the reader is. And it's funny because we did a preview book, like a 6-page preview book, and I sent it out to people, and the responses coming back were like, I don't understand. What does the fighting have to do with the girls?
How are they related?
Yeah, and it's like, crap, I can't tell you that. So you'll find that out in the rest of the book. So
we added.
Well, that's exactly what you want. Is you want them wondering why, and they got to find out. They got to buy it to find out.
Yep.
We did do some character backgrounds. He put that then in the beginning before the book, the little teaser went into print, but to explain kind of who was who. And I think that helped a little bit.
Yeah.
But.
So, but basically, we've got the premise of the first book, which is just the teenagers and their lives and going through. It's kind of fun. I didn't really intentionally. We're doing a karate tournament, and I really wasn't thinking about Cobra Kai at the time, and it just kind of worked out that Cobra Kai kind of really exploded. So hopefully people can pick up on that a little bit. Nate Lovett's here in Ohio. Sean Forney's here in Ohio. I kind of did it on purpose. I love those guys anyways, but it was nice to have an all Ohio team for shows. We do, Gem City and Dayton and some other shows together. So, getting books signed will be pretty cool.
Well, I'll see you in Cincinnati.
Yeah. We've been. I don't know if I'm getting a table in Cincinnati or not, but it's a little pricey for me. I can't do commissions, so I don't have the luxury of making bank on those commissions to pay for the tables and stuff.
Now you can sell your book.
Well, if I could sell a book for a couple $100, but
we sell 40 of your books.
There you go. That's what I gotta do. I gotta sell 40 books. So we get to the intro pages here. The first 2 pages were pretty much done. The book is lettered. Everything's done. I just have to go through and render the rest of the pages and then get them to Sean so that Sean can put his final touches on them. But here we're starting off the book and the team that is going to try to infiltrate this compound here is just going over the plan and whatnot. And then I can't explain too much, but here in the second panel, this is the second page. They're talking about hey, if we need to do we need to do what we need to do. We're charm bearers for a reason. So that kind of breaks us into the whole charm bearers, and then the lady pulls out her snake charm, and they're getting ready to attack. And then we kind of jump ahead.
This is many pages forward.
Yeah, we kind of jump ahead in the book a little bit because I don't want to you don't want to spoil everything with your sample pages. So this is the girls are in a karate tournament. We've got some Easter eggs in there. We've got a LaRusso. So there's the one girl's uncle who is their sensei, and then we jump ahead a little bit more to a scene with the folks that are actually inside the compound, and then some more We did some stretch goals. I've already had stickers printed and whatnot. So it'd be awesome to be able to break that third stretch goal to get that second sticker out to people. And those basically, when I got cover submissions from one of the ladies, I'm like, all right, yeah, these are cute. They have to be stickers.
It's actually what he said. He's like, this will be a sticker. Like, when he was like, and again, he was every time he'd open something or look at something, it's Christmas.
So we're gonna get down here to the rewards and the covers. So cover A is by the interior artist Nate Lovett. He did all the drawing of the interior, so he had an unfair advantage of knowing what the characters look like in this same style and everything. But it's awesome to see every artist's different interpretation of the same character. This
everybody loves her name.
Yeah, this girl Poopy Cat. I met her watching Twitch basically, and she does illustrations for children's magazines. And I asked her, like, hey, would you be interested in doing a cover? She's like, sure. And she's out of Canada. Her name is Kate Pellerin, and she did a great job. And people love the cuteness of the cover. Do Noir. I got her name on the first comic that I ever colored was Lucky Shot #1. Very small indie book, and he was using her to do chibi art, and I'm like, wow. I'm like, if I ever do a book, I'm like, I'm gonna have her do some chibi stuff for me. So, just very cute. And then she has a more serious version, so it's not so chibi. But I thought it was really cool as well. And then this is another couple, Comfort and Adam, that I watch on Twitch as well. They do a webtoon, and they just do great work. I mean, both digitally and traditional, with Copic markers. It's just they do an outstanding job with their art.
Adam designed a number of my critter characters. Way back in the olden days.
Yeah.
Of Big Dog Inc. Yeah, when I needed this stuff done, he did like 5 of them. Yeah, 5 different ones. So yeah,
they're very cool people. A long time. We met them at C2E2. Yeah. This is covered by Chad Harden. It's Caitlin with her falcon. So Caitlin has 4 animals, 4 charms. She has a falcon. She has a bear, a wolf, and a cheetah. Yes, those are her 4 charms that she's going to have. So, book 1 is mostly character development and explaining, getting to know the characters.
You get to see a team of adults in action.
Right, but then book 2, things are going to start to really make more sense. But Chad, I asked Chad. I met Chad through Mark May. Chad helped us do the first Hellbringers book, and I've just stayed in touch with him ever since. He's a great guy, and I love his art. And I was like, hey, can you do a cover for me? And he was like, sure. And
Marissa has joined us.
Yay, Marissa.
I have. I keep forgetting. I kept thinking today was Saturday. Multiple days I told myself today was Saturday. And I was like, oh, no, wait, no, today's Sunday. And then I was thinking it was Saturday.
I don't have that problem at all.
I've had such a messed up week with my days. Like, I showed up to an appointment on Monday that wasn't until Tuesday, so the person wasn't there to take my appointment, and I was like, what the fuck? So my day, this whole week has just been, I don't know what day it is.
Russ thought one of the days earlier was already Saturday, and I was like, no, I went to work today. Like, I actually have to leave the house and go to my job, so definitely not.
So this is Mark May's cover. Mark, I told Mark, I'm like, look, I really like your portrait style, your portrait stuff. So, he did some, realistic looking animals, and Sandrew brought him to life. I also gave him the idea for the Karate Kid crane pose. There's Sean Forney with his power stance. I think it's important for your interior guys to get to do a cover, get some recognition. So Sean's been around the industry for a while. This was the first cover that I reached out to. Mark had used Richard Bonk for one of his books. And Richard draws crazy dinosaurs, and Rich had drawn. I'd seen a page that he had posted a couple years ago with Tarzan on a bear, and I'm like, at that time I had an idea that I would for this comic book, and I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna have Richard put my girl on a bear. And that's exactly what I did. I am using this, and then it was colored by Chuck Obach, who colors for Paolo Pantalino for Zenoscope a lot. So,
and he's currently coloring
yes.
Ursa Minor.
Oh yes, he's awesome. He's so good.
So he did colors for Con Artists too.
Well, then here's Ryan's cover. This was I gave Ryan the image
for Calvin and Hobbes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Turned out awesome.
Yes.
People love it. And then here's the Shannon Mayer cover. So a couple years ago, Becky had posted online. Becky Fuller had posted online asking for help using Procreate to color, and I messaged her and said, "Hey, I can help you." I'm like, I haven't been doing it for very long, but I can definitely, show you some things that I learned to help just speed up your learning curve, basically. And she's like, "Cool." So, we were talking, and I was going over some things, and she would say, "Yeah, Shannon says that," and I'm like, "Okay." And then I would, explain something else. She's like, "Yeah, Shannon says that too," and I'm like, "Oh, who's Shannon?" And she's like, "Shannon Mayer?" And I'm like, "Oh, you know Shannon Mayer?" And she's like, "Yeah, he's my boyfriend." And I'm like, "Hold on, what? Shannon Mayer's your boyfriend, and you're asking someone else for help coloring?" She's like, "Well, yeah, he doesn't use Procreate." And I'm like, "Okay, that's fair. That's fair." So, yeah, I mean, when I was coloring for Mark, doing a card set, I was like, "Hey, Mark, I got a lot of cards to color. Is it cool if I get Becky to color some of these cards with me?" And he's like, "Yeah, sure. Yeah, that's fine." So Becky did some Hellbringers cards, and then Mark, she was flatting some books for me to get her feet wet, and then Mark had her color a book, and then she did some pinups, and then I got her doing some stuff for Marat. She's done the last two Naughty and Nice regular books, and some other stuff. So yeah, so it was when I asked Becky if her, I wanted to give them the opportunity to do a cover together, and Becky was like, "Shannon will never let me touch his art." And I'm like, no. I'm like, "We're not going to touch Shannon's art. Shannon will do his art, and then I want you to do a border, and then we'll print the border on acetate, so it'll be an overlay for Shannon's cover." And they both really liked the idea, so they went for it. And so that's what we have. Becky just gave me the border yesterday afternoon sometime. And so I'm waiting to get a test print of that on acetate so that I can see what it's going to look like. But hopefully it's going to be pretty cool. And then I did some Virgin variants, some foil variants. I don't know. Shannon has done a dragon cover, but I don't know that if he's done an animal on a cover before. So
he did a wolf on an Ursa Minor cover.
Okay.
Once.
I wasn't sure how much I was challenging him by putting an animal on the cover.
Yeah, I'm sure it's definitely not the norm that he's asked for, but he's definitely he's had
He's so good.
his
Yeah.
fingers in all that kind of stuff. Yeah.
So then in the add-on section, I have the shattered glass. I got a Photoshop template that basically puts glass shards on the image. And I'm having my printer do spot foil on the glass shards so that the glass is shiny. It makes them look pretty cool. And then I did, I know that, everybody that goes to my Kickstarter is not going to like everything, or not potentially, they don't like everything. They may not, my campaign may not be for them. So I put a bunch of other indie artist projects at the bottom of my Kickstarter to give them options to look through as well. And these are projects that I've worked on, people that are local to me, projects that I've just backed. So
awesome. So
I
there
also
we go, guys.
kept my prices reasonable, I think. I start off with a $15 book, makes its way up to $20. I did sets for, I want to say like $25 or $30. I think all the sets, 2-book sets, Trade Dress and Virgin, are $25. And I think Shannon's is $30. And then I did foil sets for $35, which most people do like a foil book for $40. So I did a set for $35. So I try to keep everything reasonable. Just from a indie comic standpoint. So, but I mean, everyone has to understand that with indie comics, because I've seen a lot of talk on Facebook about their book shouldn't cost more than $5, or shipping shouldn't be more than $5, and I think it's folks that just really don't understand that when you're spending $6,000 to create a book, you can't really sell a book for $5 and make your money back. It's just not a.
Well, most of them don't understand it costs us close to $5 just to print the book.
Right, exactly. Everyone thinks that a comic book is $1.25 or whatever. If Marvel can do it for $4, then you should be able to. And it's like, well, Marvel's selling 200,000 books plus.
Yeah,
you've seen how I dive into those threads. You've seen my methodology of
right, it's a double-bladed axe.
Sort of teaching these guys, the realities of freaking independent comics, because they are clueless.
It's interesting having conversations with folks about the differences between mainstream comics and indie comics, about how mainstream backers back character. They don't necessarily know who writes or draws the book. They've been buying the Superman book for 20 years in their pool box. They don't know. They don't necessarily care. Some of them do. I mean, there's exceptions, but you can't. For the most part, you can't go into a local comic book shop and say, "Hey, do you know who Mike DeBalfo is?" They're like, "No clue." They don't know who Eric Bassel is. There's no clue. There is a definite division between indie comics and mainstream comics, and then that's why when folks are like, "Hey, can you get a mainstream artist like whoever, Willis Patachio, Tom McFarlane's kind of different, but these big name mainstream guys, and you bring them over to the indies and they do a cover or whatever, and they don't do as well as a Steph Wilson or Ryan Kincaid, someone that has a big following. And it's just because indie backers, the ones that are going to Kickstarter, they follow creators and writers. The characters really haven't been around long enough to have a following themselves, so they back writers and creators and artists. It's they follow them on social media. They feel like they're part of their family. They know Ryan Kincaid. They know his wife is Shannon. They know he's got kids, and they know they're in karate. I mean, they know all this stuff about the creators.
Hey man, are you stalking my house?
I think everybody on Facebook stalks your house, Ryan.
Probably.
So, it's an interesting dynamic, because there are a few creators that draw from both sides. Talk about Brian Pulido and Billy Tucci, because their characters are iconic. They've been around for 30 years, and so that's why these guys are making $250,000, $450,000 on Kickstarter, because they're pulling from the mainstream guys because their books have been in local shops for years, but they've also built a community in the indie world. So, and that's why Dan Mendoza, he had Zombie Tramp, which has a big following, but when that publisher had it and they had it in Diamond and had it in local comic shops, he gets the rights back and boom, $275,000. His first Kickstarter, because it's got that popularity. It's been in stores and everything. It's huge. So
yeah, it's building the fan base. I mean, we talk about this literally all the time, and every Facebook group, at least 3 times a week, somebody will come on and be like, "Hey, how do you build a fan base?" And it's like, "Yo, you put in 12 years. How's that?" Because that's really the answer: is time and effort. There's no switch to flip where you're suddenly are like, "Oh yeah, I've got
Eat
like 1,000
McDonald's
followers."
cheeseburgers for $1 for the next 5 years. While you hope to get the next work in, and then we'll talk.
Yep. There's no quick fix, folks.
Shit, I remember doing my first shows and being thankful if I was able to buy dinner that night.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
Or at least the gas money to get home.
And that's that's when you were talking. That's when you were talking about Cincinnati. That's why I was like, yeah, you get up into the $200, $300 tables. I'm kind of like, yeah, I don't know if I can squeak that one out.
Well, the only difference between that now, Russ, is when Cincinnati's in September, right?
Yeah, I think so.
So you'll have this issue out.
Oh yeah.
So you have, 11 covers that you can have on your table now.
And I've actually
you'll have the benefit of I'll be there. Like you do what all the other retailers do. Hey, go buy this. Go get a sign by Kincaid. He's down that row.
Yep. Nope. That's a definite advantage. Oh crap! What was I gonna say? I've got actually a few retailers. So I've got a couple retailers, a couple guys that wanted their own variant covers, but then I also had a couple folks reach out. They want to wait till after the Kickstarter and get some books as well. So not everyone's comfortable with Kickstarter. So hey, if I can sell you some books, after Kickstarter and save that 8%, basically, I'm good with that. I don't care.
It's still a win.
Yeah. So I had a decent sized donation from someone outside of Kickstarter as well. They don't have a computer, but they wanted to support the project. I thought that was really cool as well. Someone I didn't know until they messaged. I was just like, okay, that's awesome. Thank you. I want to send you all the books anyways now, but
there you go. No, yeah, you're not going into shows as Russ the colorist. Now you're going into shows as Russ the publisher.
Right. No,
so
it's definitely
your selling point is changed instantly.
Yeah, it's definitely a good feeling, actually having a book and having just some awesome artists that have worked on it and everything. So I can't wait to I've got some stuff lined up for book 2 as well. Already, I think that's probably the most fun part for me is finding cover artists. And I told Mark, everybody I was talking to about it is, I'm only going to do 5 or 6 covers. I've learned my lesson watching everybody else do all this stuff. And yeah, right. It became like Pokemon. It was like crack cocaine.
Oh, I do that every time I see new people's work, and I'm like, I already have enough covers, but I'm gonna get you to do one anyways.
Yes,
I'll either use it for this one or the next one, but that should your work's awesome, and if I can get you now, I'm getting you now.
Yep, that's exactly what I that's what I did for Drax. I saw his art on on Zombie Tramp, and I'm like, oh, yep, I'm getting this guy. And then I reached out, and he did a cover, and then Joe was like, hey, I'd like to do my own variant. I'm like, shit. fine. I'm like, I got this cover from Drax, and I showed it to him, and he's like, yep, I want it. And I'm like, damn, it's okay. All right, that's okay, cool. So, yeah, Justin, that's a good point. You know, I'm leery. I know some folks do prints. Marat does a print pack, so basically you get, you can't get them separate. You get all of the prints, and that there's no, because I've seen other people try to do separate prints, and it gets so expensive with shipping and everything. So
Well, I think he's talking about at shows.
Oh yeah,
You know what I mean?
that's a fair point. But
you can make those things prints for shows.
Yeah.
And come on, you know how the ropes go. You've been around me and Marat long enough. Like, if you know now you're gonna do Cincinnati. Hey guys, we have this Cincinnati Comic-Con exclusive.
Yeah, no, that's also a great idea.
People will eat that up just because they want that exclusive.
Nope, that's a good idea too. Marissa was not kidding. She is on the tiger.
I wasn't kidding. I love drawing tigers. They're like one of my favorite animals to draw. I don't get to draw animals very often, but whenever I do, I love drawing
I
tigers.
thought a giraffe was your favorite to draw.
Then I'll have to be in touch with you, Marissa.
Oh, they're a tie. Yes, let's talk. Yeah. Okay. Well, do you remember that? Oh my God, that test that I drew, that very first one with the tiger coming down the staircase.
Yeah.
Here I was gonna crack a cougar joke.
Yeah, that I love. Like that one turned out so good.
Yeah, my wife is.
The girl's not very good, but
my wife wants to make sure that we get. We have a definite female presence in our cover art. So that's why. Yeah, no, right. I mean, she's definitely about making sure that we have women represented, in the book, on the art, everything. So have to make sure that people that I've worked with and stuff, I have to make sure that I get everybody taken care of.
I don't know who knows, but Russ has done something for BDI as well. Way back in the day, we did our Penny for Your Soul Showgirls pinup book, and we had Rob Hicks do his first ever Big Dog Ink thing for us as well, and Russ did some colors for us. So
yeah,
that was cool.
That was a fun one to color as well. Feathers are awesome. There's so many different things that you can do with feathers. So, but yeah, I remember that movie. I don't know who doesn't, but Jesse from Saved by the Bell.
I don't think I ever saw it.
Oh, you're doing yourself a disservice, man.
I'm a liar.
He just doesn't want to admit that.
Who in my age group has not seen that movie? Come on.
Yeah. Well, it's one of those things, where when we hear that it's someone from a show that you watched growing up, and and they're getting naked, it's kind of like, yeah, I gotta watch that. Wait a second, Punky Brewster? What? Okay, we're watching that one. So, but no, I mean, I don't know. It's there's definitely fun to just be part of the other side of the creation process. I mean, Marat he asked me last year, he's like, hey, you want to write do you have a story you want to tell? And I'm like, what do you mean? Do I have a story I want to tell? He's like, I need a Halloween story. He's like, you want to do the Halloween book? And I said, yeah, I'll do the Halloween book. That'll be cool.
Chewy.
So he let me write a story for the Halloween book and hire an artist and basically, do a script. And that was my first opportunity to actually try to do a script and work with an artist to, do the panel layout and everything. And I used Chris Graves, and it came out really well. I did and the story is kind of funny. I talked to my wife about it, and, told her my ideas, and she had me do some tweaking here and there. But it's basically the three girls go to a haunted house, and the haunted house ends up, basically people were being killed inside of the house, and but the ending is what killed me, because I turned it into a Scooby-Doo ending. So it made it kind of funny, anyways. To me, I was probably the only one laughing, but it's always, that was my first trial. Murat gave me the first trial to do that. Helped with this book, definitely.
Side note, be glad y'all ain't in my basement right now. My dog all of a sudden has gas, and all I can hear is. Granted, I don't have
My
teeth,
dogs also have
but
gas.
anybody else would be screwed. He's like an old man sleeping right now. It's just random.
Well, that's funny.
And it's new. He never did that before. It's like over the past 6 months, he just became this gas fiend. Dude, he's turning into an old man.
He didn't change his food.
No, he's just literally turning into. He already had the grumpier part. Now he's getting the old man part.
Oh wow. Yeah, we've got he's a Bassador. He's part Basset, part Lab. So his head looks like a lab, but his body is short and long, like a Basset Hound. His front legs are bowed like a Basset Hound, but he has a lab head, and he's like 10 or 11 now. So he's definitely getting older and not moving around as well. So.
Oh, mine's not actually old. He's just been old since he's been a year old. He's only 6, but he acts like he's 12. He's just a decoration around the house. We don't touch him.
He's just a decoration.
He's a housewarming
we have
gift.
to explain it to new people that come over. If he comes to you, that's fine, but if not, don't go up and pet him. He's just decoration. He gets grumpy real fast.
The scariest day of my life whenever Chewy wanted me to hold him. I was like, it's a trap. This is the trap.
Yeah. It's a trap. He's going to bite me, right?
I don't trust this.
Every fiber in your body.
I know. I was like, it was instinct. I was like, no, he's really heavy and pleasant to hold.
Nice.
He would have been a great anxiety dog if he wasn't such an asshole. Because if he knows you're having a hard time, he comes up, he lays on your lap, he puts his hands on your chest, he starts wagging his tail, trying to calm you down. But other than that, he's like an asshole. So you can't, it's like, no, dude, I don't want you laying on me, man. You snap. You go from happy to fuck off real fast.
Hey, Tom, I just sent you actually, it's still going, a page that is not on the Kickstarter.
You sent it to Messenger?
Yeah.
Oh, I see it.
Yeah, just because since they're drawing tigers, I figured they could see the internal page that has the tiger on it. Hasn't been shown before, but I don't think it's going to spoil anything.
Spoils that there's a tiger.
Well, they're drawing tigers anyway, so.
Oh yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
It's not a finished page, but at least it gives the idea.
Oh,
Sarah
where did I put it? There we go.
Sarah went to help the daughter do some homework. So, did you get done? All right, good job.
There it is.
Tiger.
So, yep, that's another charm of the person. So they can each have four charms each. So that's been one of the kind of the fun things is figuring out, which chart bearer has which animal. I forget, we were on a show Friday night, I think, in Dustin Burnell, and he had some folks from Australia on there, so they were all talking about what kind of Australian animals we could have, like kangaroos and wombats, and so it's kind of amusing.
Gosh, could you
If one of
imagine
them
the
doesn't
terror
have a
of
useless
having a
tortoise,
Koala.
yeah.
It's okay.
Well, they look terrifying wet.
I mean, how often
The
is that going to
koalas?
come up in the series?
Seriously, Google wet koala, change your life.
Oh yeah, they look horrifying.
Oh my gosh, terrible.
But how-
terrible.
But how often are you going to see that in the comic?
They're the
As soon as Russ
I
puts it
think
in
As
there.
he wants
Yeah.
to write it in.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we use the snake, right? And I'm like, I'm thinking to myself, okay, how fast is the snake gonna move?
Pretty damn
You know,
fast.
It's
Have you
like
seen Kung Fu Panda?
sneaky? Well, you know what?
Yeah.
There we go.
Well,
And we
there was that section in 1883 where that guy was like, "Oh, what's happened to my wife?" And he just gets like whap 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 with the rattlesnake. I'm like, "Oh, there goes his leg." Nasty.
I can't. I mean, I think we're gonna give the animals like special abilities and stuff that the charm bearer will be able to tap into eventually once they are more in tune with their animal. So I think in book 2, when we're gonna have a big battle scene, I think we're gonna see some of those extra things that we didn't really do in book 1, but we got to save some stuff to get people to go to book 2.
Yep.
So,
Like the wet koala.
Yeah.
like the wet koala, yes. And the what was that?
That's on your final page. It says next issue, wet koala.
What was the little naked mole or whatever from Kim
The
Possible?
mole rat.
Yeah.
Naked mole rat Rufus. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
You got to have a Rufus.
You could do a naked cat too. I love naked cats.
Mr. Bigglesworth.
The Sphinx.
Yeah.
So we'll just make one of the charm bearers have naked animals. You have
Yeah. And
naked.
Hey man, I thought
they're
you
always
said this was
naked.
a
They're
kid
always
book.
naked themselves.
It's like, man,
Well,
I
they're
got
like
the
Tarzan.
shaft of
They have to
mine.
have. They were like a loincloth. Tarzan's a kids movie.
They just always have to have a funny thing to break them out. What are you gonna do with the koala? Get them wet and find out, mother trucker.
Yep. So yeah, I mean, I've been getting a lot of compliments on the interior art. Someone said that they backed it to get the Shannon Mare cover, but when they saw the interior art, they were sold on the project as a whole. So that's always
Nate's work is great,
always
and I think it fits really well.
Yeah. So he's doing some projects right now himself that are pretty big for him. It's cool. I've got a Paw Patrol magnet book or something like that for my kids. My twins are 6. They just turned 6 in February, and I got them a Paw Patrol magnet book, and Nate's name is on the back for doing the art, the Paw Patrol art for Nickelodeon. So it's cool. But it's awesome watching you guys draw. It's so relaxing. I just want to watch. Like, no more talking. Just
That's
watch
pretty much what always happens on the show. Is you'll find the guest is just sort of enthralled with the art.
I'm not sure what Wendy is saying. What's Sanderson?
Sanderson is the author that writes those.
That did the book.
Yeah, he does those books that basically he doesn't tell anybody what they're about. They're like mystery books.
Yeah.
So you don't know what it's about until you get it.
Yeah.
So people are so enthralled with like mystery things, like the mystery boxes and just mystery, just It's crazy.
Well, and he's the
45
guy, like he's the example, right? We talked about it earlier. How do you build an
Yeah.
audience? This guy's been writing for decades. That's how you build an audience. You make a
Right.
product, and you make another product, and you make another product, and you make sure that people are digging it. And you know, however long this guy's been doing it, now he's skipped out on the publishing system and has you know, changed the game for authors around the world.
Yep. I mean, I think it's definitely an interesting turn of events. I'm glad he's doing well. People are like, oh, he would have made so much more money if he would have had the publisher, and I'm like, but what do you have?
No,
Probably not.
That's the whole point. Is no.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably not.
And that's kind of the world we live in now with comics. Even it's like, you know, the all these guys, again, we go back to these Facebook groups and stuff. How do I pitch to a publisher? I'm like, why what are you, what is, I mean, unless you want to do nothing besides, you know, write your book and you know, hand it off and then let someone else do all the work.
Right.
There's nothing that the publisher is going to do for you that you can't do for yourself and build your own audience over time, of course. I mean, obviously, if you put the image eye in the left corner of your book, that means something. But there's plenty of image books that have failed over the years, so there's no guarantees of any of that. So you're better off just doing it your way and not having anyone, you know, tell you yes or no, or you know. I feel like unless you are like entrenched with a publisher already, or you're just a big name guy that could go wherever they want to go,
Right.
pitching to publishers just doesn't. There's just not a value there anymore, really.
Yeah, I mean, if you can do it yourself and you can build that following on through crowdfunding and make the money, there's really no point to do it. Yeah, someone was talking about pitching, and Marat was just like, I don't see why. I mean, if you're making enough money and through crowdfunding, why? I mean, so many people have it as like in their head, like that's their ultimate goal is to be published by, you know, a big publisher.
I think they're expecting them to pick up the marketing tab, and it's just like there's
no marketing. The publishers don't do marketing.
Exactly.
Right.
And that's the thing that most people don't understand. Yeah.
So we're actually looking at publishing as a secondary market, which is funny. Like we have the opportunity here soon to put Persuasion out through Lunar and Con Artists as well.
Sure.
And everyone's like, are you going to do it? And I was like, yeah, probably, but it doesn't change. Like everything's going my way first. It'll go out through publishing afterwards because why not? But that's not my main focus. That's like, that's not the main goal.
That's the Brian Polito method. He did Kickstarters for 2 years, built up a product base, and then took those products that he did 2 years ago and sent them to Diamond. And so it was the same book, new covers, but you know, he rebuilt himself through Diamond after he did 2 years of Kickstarters.
Right.
I mean, that's where I'm sitting right now. I'm sitting here looking at like, look, I've done Kickstarters for like 5 years. I have more than enough to throw at the Diamond market now, and treat it as essentially a marketing expense to drive traffic back to me directly, and you know, use the Polito method basically.
Yep, that's what we're doing. Probably not till next year, but yep.
So Lunar is the one that basically took over for Diamond, right? Well, they didn't take over for Diamond. They're both. No,
they're just another.
Lunar does DC.
Yeah,
and other. They do some other publishers too, but they DC left and went to Lunar.
Yeah,
and then Marvel left, went to Penguin. So basically, Diamond just does the indie guys, you know.
Yeah.
Zenoscope and Dynamite and Valiant and, you know, Aspen and whatever else. So it's a different world, but yeah, Lunar does DC, but they do have, I think they have Scout maybe is one of them.
Yeah.
So Scout is in both places. They're at Lunar and they're in Diamond.
Oh, so you can do both.
Sure. Oh yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay. So Boom somewhere in there too then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. What are they gonna tell you? No. All right.
So Tom, you're launching on Saturday.
Saturday, yes, April 2nd. April
Nice.
2nd.
You know, I almost freaked out and was like, "Crap, is my cover done?" Yeah, I saw the covers.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes, it's
I
done.
saw the covers. We just talked about that.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I'm good. So that's how I'm leaving on Wednesday, so I'm like, do I have anything due between now and Wednesday? Because I will not be home for a week. So
Right there. There it is.
Nice.
Ooh, pretty.
Yeah, I liked the bear on the shirt. I'm like, yeah.
Design matters. Design matters. There's very little that we do design-wise that isn't looked at relatively meticulously. Everything sort of has a purpose. I remember when we were doing Legend of Oz and Dorothy has her blue fingerless gloves. Somebody at a con came up and was like, that's because she's got to get her fingers in the gun, right? And I was like, yeah, you got it. All right. Excellent. Very good.
No,
So, yeah.
Ryan's drawing is showing why I like the bear on the shirt.
Oh yeah. This is so Charms is basically a variant of Ursa Minor is what we're saying, right?
A variant.
This is like the multiverse, and,
Yes, the
and
multiverse.
this is
she bought the shirt at Hot Topic.
There you go. She bought the Ursa Minor shirt at Hot Topic.
Yeah.
Well, that's funny. Marissa's whipping out that tiger. Geesh.
I am.
Marissa, do you draw a lot for fun? I know you guys.
I do.
You guys all stay like super busy, but do you get to draw for fun?
I do more now than I ever have. Since I do this full time now, I have more time to do the things I want. And if I do something, it's like small. It's not anything like super intricate or anything. So, but there are things that I do want to draw for myself that will be like bigger projects, like characters that I've always wanted to draw. Just different ideas that I've had, that I haven't had time to do yet. So
There's
more
no
now
rush.
than before. No,
so
there's never enough
Christian
time.
is Christian's a follower of ours here, and he's an artist as well. So every time we do a show, he figures out what we're drawing, and he draws it too, and then
cool.
posts it up, and everybody can have a look at it.
That's sweet. We one of the things we do for our kids is we buy those mystery eggs at the store, Walmart or whatever. Usually you get to crack it open and there's a dinosaur you can build or a car or something. And so my daughter did her homework tonight, so she's got a little dinosaur thing that
I
my
don't know
wife
how
is
she
trying to
worked that
assemble.
deal, because normally it's when she does her 50 words.
So, yeah,
I think she caught me off guard tonight.
Dragon.
sorry, it's a dragon. My bad.
Get it right, Russ.
She kind of had wings.
Oh, it has wings.
Yeah.
She got you there.
Okay, let's see.
Oh wait, I don't have it built yet.
Oh, okay.
That's what she asked her to go get the instructions so she could build it.
Uh-huh.
Eggy.
Okay, don't,
Eggy.
baby.
Stop. Goofball.
Yeah, normally if I am online gaming or he is finishing up work, one of us is with the kids. But when we do these, that is not the case.
We get interrupted.
Oh, hold on. Here we go.
Hold on,
Coming
wait.
back.
Oh,
There we go.
Did you see it? Here, give me here. Give it.
Yellow. It's a yellow dragon.
Yeah, it's a little yellow.
Oh yeah, okay.
Nice.
Kinder
Okay.
eggs, man.
We don't need a Kinder eggs.
Kinder egg.
All right, go on. Go back to the other room.
Good Lord.
He can't find his.
So
book.
Jim's he's launching his Kickstarter. I have to set it up this week. He's launching on April 1st, and I'm like, "Are you seriously doing a Kickstarter on April Fool's Day?" He's like, "What better day is there for me to do a Kickstarter?" I'm
Well,
like,
that's his official anniversary day.
oh, is it?
Yeah, that's the way that I understand it. Is he started Totally Rad on the April 1st. So
Because he got kicked out of high school on April 1st. His junior year, I think.
okay, there you go. There's a story there.
So April 1st, he holds very near and dear to him. Weird to be that, but he holds it very near and dear to him.
It's crazy.
Well, Rob Multari is launching his book as well this week. I saw Ryan, you just announced yours for the end of April.
Yeah. Yeah, we're finally gonna get that launched.
Good night. Oops, sorry.
What's up, Mr. Smithers? Catching us as we're getting into the wind down period. But welcome. There is April's piece. There is Ryan Kincaid.
Yo.
And Marissa. Got the late start, but she is on it.
So again, the Charms book is about 3 small town teens that are eventually going to discover that they are part of an ancient tribe that has the ability to forge magical bracelets. The tribe members that wear the bracelets are called charm bearers, and they can bring the charms to life and have the animals fight beside them. It's definitely a PG-13 book just for the random animal violence.
And other violence.
And other violence, yeah.
Animals were harmed in the creation of this book.
No,
and we actually had to come up. It's funny you say that. I had to come up with what could happen if an animal does get hurt in battle. What does that do? And so that'll be explained in book 2 a little bit.
yeah.
So
I asked. I'm like, we don't want holes. Someone's going to ask us.
I have an issue with holes. It's a hole thing.
I'm like, what happens if an animal gets shot in battle?
I didn't mean to do that, but yeah, it's an issue for me. So
It was a great pun.
as a reader, yeah, it was an unintentional one, but yeah, as a reader, and if we're watching like movies, for example, I'll be like, but that's a huge glaring hole that bothers me. Now I'm mad, kind of thing. So I really didn't want any kind of. Nobody's perfect, but I really wanted to come up with what would happen. And so, there's a guy for that. Anyway, so
You got basically what you're saying is you got your holes covered.
Yeah, we've got our holes covered.
fully protected, fully protected.
Chastity belt.
There it is.
Fantastic.
Good thing. Is that a circle or are those ellipses?
Ellipses.
All right, that's a good thing. Steph doesn't have that one. They'd be saggy boobs.
I was just using it as a ruler, to be honest. So
I just saw the ellipses and I was just like,
Is that the circles? They kept
yes,
referencing?
that's the one we're talking about. Steph uses the circle template.
That was Thursday night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, but I don't know.
So Ryan, are you going to a show this weekend?
WonderCon, yeah.
Oh yeah, okay, that's the one Marat will be at.
Yeah. I'm just I'm leaving early because I'm gonna go hang out with some friends and stuff since I grew up out there and I have family out there.
California. Yep.
Yeah. So I'm gonna go see some people.
It's always good. That's what we do when we do shows that are, a decent, that can't drive back home. We just make it a family trip and get a hotel with a pool and let the kids.
I haven't been back to California because of COVID and minus a 1-day trip because of a funeral in almost 3 years. So I figured I since I'm already going out there, I can just extend it for a little while.
Yep.
I was stationed out there in the late '90s, so
he wants to get back. He still
What part?
talks about carne
San Diego
asada fries.
Oh, okay.
Yes, carne asada fries.
That's all I know. Like, honest to goodness, I hate to say that, but I haven't been anywhere west like that, and so California and San Diego apparently has carne asada fries. That's what I know.
Carne fries.
Yeah.
Arizona has them too. They're delicious.
They're crazy.
Apparently, if we ever get back, that's for him to go visit some folks. That's what we will be having.
So that's one. It's funny because I've been an in and out of comics kind of person. So when I was in high school, I collected a bunch of comic books with the gimmicks, foil covers, embossed, die cut, like the Wolverine 50 die cut. And I would basically put them in a bag and board, and I would tack them to my wall in my bedroom. And so I had, like 50 comics on my wall in my bedroom. And then I went to the military, so I got rid of all my comics before I left. And then I was, in the Navy, stationed in San Diego. And one of the guys was like, "Oh, we're going to San Diego Comic Convention." I'm like, "What's that?" I never knew what a comic book convention was. I was in, Ohio, whatever.
Yeah.
But we went, and I was just like, "Holy crap, this is awesome!" I mean, it was back when Image was really just starting, '95, I think. Ultimate Warrior had a comic book. Yeah, Lou Ferrigno. I mean, it was crazy. It was madness. I went there, and it wasn't what it is today. It was not nearly as busy. Cosplay wasn't what it is now. I didn't have to wait. I walked. I went up to every Image creator's table, and they had stacks of books on their table, and I would just pay for the book and get them to sign it. And so, I mean, McFarlane, Larson, Jim Lee. Rob, everybody just walk right up. There was no real line. I mean, there was a line, but not horrible, and not like today. And so I got back into comics, and then I got out of the military, and I had an apartment with a buddy, and going to college, and I needed rent money, so I sold all my comics, all of those signed comics, so like $125.
Somebody told you not to, but I didn't get.
Somebody told me not to. Yeah.
But what I didn't know is then when he got a job, when we moved back to the area I grew up in, and he got a job, he slowly was buying all of those comics that he lost back. But he would have them shipped to the college where he worked. So I didn't know.
Well, because those, Spawn #1 signed by Todd McFarlane or Spider-Man #1 signed by Todd McFarlane, those books weren't cheap anymore like they were when I got them in the, in the 90s. This was 2015, 16 time frame, so they were a bit more expensive. So I'd buy them and ship them to work. That way, somebody wasn't going to give me too much grief because she didn't want me to buy my books back because
it was the whole thing. When he did this, the whole thing was because my gosh, we'd been dating at that point, 2 or 3 years probably. And the whole thing was, I said, if you do this, because I didn't want him to, I said, you're never buying them back. Because you can buy any other books, not these. Just because it was the whole point I was trying. I thought, well, maybe that'll get him not to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And then he just bought them back anyway. But just had them shipped to a different spot.
And you are going to feel that forever.
No, not really. No, he hasn't.
No, I'm meaning you shouldn't be, You're
never going to hear selling them. Yeah.
No, because if you do it, she may sell you.
Yeah. I tried to talk Gus into buying The Walking Dead #1, and he was just like, I don't need another zombie comic. They're never as good as I expect them to be. No, it's fine. And he put it back. I'm like, are you sure? And he's like, Yeah.
Mm.
And then, for years, I don't know, like once a month, once every 3 months, he'd get on eBay and be like, oh, yeah. And he was just so pissed. He's like, I didn't expect it to be that good. So,
Russ has a list of about 10 I would call like holy grail books that he wants. And what we got? One.
Well, I mean, we were at the last show before COVID in February 2020. Somebody at the show had Tales of Suspense 39 for $3,000, and he's like it's probably about a 2.0. That's why I have it at $3,000. He's like, it could be higher than that, but I'm not sure. But anyway, so I didn't buy it. And then the next day, she's like, are you sure you didn't want to buy that book? I'm like, well, I kind of did. She's like, well, we have the money. Why don't you just go buy it? And I'm like, are you sure? And she's like, yeah, just go get it. So I called the guy because he hadn't sold it. And I'm like, yeah, I want to get that book. And actually, he had another book as well, which was the first Happy Hogan and Pepper Potts as well. And it was in pretty bad shape too. And I was just like, hey, we tossed that one in for the $3,000. And he's like, yeah, we'll do that. So I got both of those books for the $3,000, and then I sent the Tales of Suspense 39 off to Alpha and Omega for pressing and
I
cleaning.
was a bit of a nervous wreck.
Yeah, shipping that book out. Yeah, and then they sent it for the fast track grading through CGC, and it came back a 3.0. And at the time when I got it back, it was a 3.0 was 6 or 7K, but now with comic prices going up, it's selling for anywhere from 11 to 15 on eBay now. So
every once in a while he'll go, do you think you want us to let it go? And I'm like, no, it's fine.
Yeah. So.
Has anybody had the Oscars on in the background?
No.
Oh, a thing like very off topic. I just got a message saying Will Smith slaps the shit out of Chris Rock on stage and saying, keep my wife's name out of your fucking mouth.
Oh, well, we're looking now.
I was like, what? I can't. All the videos are taken down. I just see a picture of aftermath of like Chris literally just got smacked. Will's hand still swinging. I'm like, I want to see a video.
Yeah.
There will be a video leak somewhere, I'm sure.
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
Probably a long time coming.
I was like, wow, that's some intense shit right there.
It's the only thing exciting that's happened at the Oscars in 20 years.
All right.
Yeah, well, I just wonder.
Makes you wonder if it's somewhat.
If it was staged or not.
Set up, yeah.
Well, they bleeped everything out after they realized it was getting bad. So I don't know if it was staged because he made a joke about.
That's what he said. He made a joke about Jada Smith.
Jada and the condition she has or something. And it went very wrong.
Oh,
so Smith wasn't even on stage with him. He got up out of his seat, walked up on stage to Chris Rock and slapped him, and then walked back down.
Talk about a joke not landing.
Yeah, he made a comment about a sequel to G.I. Jane. Yikes.
Well, we can talk about somebody's wife, I guess.
Whew.
Oh, that's rule number one with me. You can mess with me all you want. You say something not appropriate about my kids or my wife, I'm gonna hit you.
Yeah, exactly.
So we are coming down to the end here, folks. As always, these are generally available. So if you guys are interested in April's piece, give her a buzz. Ryan's piece there. Ryan tends to sit on these things, but you can always shoot him a message. Same with
I have only been
Marissa.
sitting on them lately because I put them in a drawer and forget that I didn't sell them.
I appreciate you guys taking the time to do this, for our characters and everything. It's awesome. They all look super awesome.
It was fun. It's a fun
Happy
character.
to have you.
Yeah, Tom, I appreciate you reaching out and getting me on the show for the last few days.
Yeah, I'm glad we caught you right towards the end there. You got a few days left, so
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Hey, Christian, we looked at your piece, and it looks really awesome. I appreciate it.
Mr. Zaffo. So yeah, you guys got a handful of days. Go over there, get them pushed over that 6K mark. You should hit that 6K mark pretty easily with 3 days to go, I would imagine. Let everybody go over, jump on, give them a pledge.
I appreciate it, and like I said, as we move through the 4-book series, we're going to discover more and more things. It's going to be a lot of fun. We have a lot of plans, and I think what we're going to do going forward are, like 2 or 3 book, 4-book miniseries kind of things, so that everything, when we do a story, it has a beginning and an end, instead of like an ongoing series where it really doesn't feel like it ends. So, but not one book. I don't want to do a number 1 over and over again. So we'll do 1, 2, and 3. And have a title for that arc, and then finish up that story and move on to the next one
within that universe around.
Yep.
Their world.
Yep.
That's the plan. Yeah, I was laughing. I went to Columbus. There's COSI. Just real quick.
It's a science museum
over the weekend, and there's a Cuba area. Is their special place, and there's these freaky looking animals. I can't remember what they were called, but they were. So I sent him a picture, and it was tongue in cheek. But he goes, "Those look. What are you like? Those look scary or something like that." And I'm like, "Yeah, if we ever have a team coming out of Cuba, I know one of the charm bear pets for that." Team.
But it was weird. It's like a little mole thing, but it was hairy, and it had like a beak thing.
Anyway. And it was sort of tongue in cheek, but at the same time, it was just because he's like, it's like, but that's my thought. These guys can run into other folks, and it all be kind of.
I told him about the guys from Australia.
We're gonna do a kangaroo and a wombat apparently at some point in the future if we ever do an Australian team. But who knows where the books will take us? But
we're starting in Appalachia first.
That's right.
It's where we're from.
Represent. Did you tell me about the Easter? We did a few Easter eggs too for our locals. So the local comics shop, and in the book too, I'll be able to feature the other comic shop that he goes to all the time.
I like to do things like that. We give a shout out to a local band. The local one, our closest shop, who the owner went to school with Sarah, and
just a fun little. We know they're Easter eggs. Nobody else, other than locals would know it, but it's just kind of fun for us to do.
So we have a local reaction group that does they're a pretty popular reaction group on YouTube. So we gave them, I put their logo on a window in the town. So, just little things like
little
that.
Things that locals might find Easter eggs in. So. Oh, wow.
There we go. We got the Kirby crackle happening.
The Kirby crackle.
There it is.
It's happening. It's happening.
Oh yeah. The one thing I can do better than Mike.
It's a Spider-Verse.
He's like, teach me how to draw Kirby Crackle. I'm like, I've tried. I've tried so many times. He's like, I'll let you have this one thing. Okay.
I'll let you have this one thing.
Yeah.
All right, guys, that is 11 o'clock. We've done it. Episode 23 in the books. It's all about charms, folks. You got about 3 days. Get over there to give them some back in, get up to that 6,000 mark. You got 3 days to go. All right.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, everybody.
So, thanks, Russ and Sarah, for
everybody.
chilling with us. Got a great-looking book, good, fun characters. Anybody that's interested in the art, again, contact April, Marissa, or Ryan. Let them know you're interested in the art. They do sell these things, so you can get that and make it happen for you. We'll be back. Yeah, go ahead.
Noble comes on right at the as you're signing off.
Yeah. Of course. We've only been here for 2 hours.
Way to be late, Noble.
Shows up now. Of course, he shows up. So, guys, we'll be back next week. Watch for our announcements of there's all kinds of Kickstarter campaigns popping up here in the next couple of weeks. So keep your eyes open for all of that. And we'll see you all next week. Bye-bye.
See ya.
Bye.
Thanks.